Peace. Back in the building. Yeah, about to go back over some more of those legal definitions and get it in, man. Show and prove that black excellence. You know what I'm saying? Or it's bomb. So yeah. So we getting it in, right? So I left off on present self, and I was speaking about whether you want to get a public defender or a private attorney. You want to get more to a private attorney because a private attorney can represent you in, legal matters, or can present or represent your information to the court. You know what I'm saying? And they know all the ways and, the terminologies of the courts and the procedures and so forth. You know what I'm saying? They could probably do that part maybe better than you if you're not so sufficient in the procedural part. You know what I'm saying? Because that was my thing. I came with all this information, but yet the procedure, you know what I'm saying? The procedure, you got to know how to do the procedure. So anyway, we're going to go into, like I was breaking down about durable power of attorney. You know what I'm saying? A letter of attorney is written. A letter of attorney is a written authorization to represent or act on another's behalf in private affairs, business, or some other legal matter. One granting another act is principal, grantor, or donor. Keith Little was breaking down jewels about how to accelerate the bonds, call them in, navigate the vessel that's lost at sea. You know what I'm saying? All the bonds the probate office has been fostering. So, actually those are kind of my own words, but he was talking about accelerating the bonds. He used that term, accelerating the bonds, meaning all the bonds that's out there, all the insurance policies and everything they got in your name, you know what I'm saying? You want to call all of that in. You know what I'm saying? You have what's called the Trust Indenture Act. You know what I mean? Look that up. Attestation. Here we go. This is what I was talking about, attestation. Attestation, evidence or proof of something, a declaration that something exists. So when you draw up all your paperwork, this is called an attestation, a declaration that something exists. You're stating, yo, I am a foreign entity. I am a tribal government of Aboriginal people. We are a tribe. We have our own customary laws, boom, boom, this, X, Y, and Z, all the stuff you want to be known, and you draw that up, and then you have members of that tribe or people attest to it, acknowledge each other's autographs, and then that makes it just as valid as having a notary. Attestation. It says evidence or proof of something, a declaration that something exists or is the case. The action of being a witness to or formally certifying something. So in other words, like I said, when everybody signs off on the document or puts their autograph on the document, that's them. That's all of them formally certifying something. That's how you certify a document, instead of going through the certification process. Like, how they tell you, oh, we need a certified copy to come before the court. Certified copy is through attestation, not through going to the county clerk and giving them your original document, which they're going to take with your wet ink signature and monetize it and securitize it and create a bond out of it. You know what I'm saying? With all the other documents they attach it to, because they consider you to be a ward of the state and and you brought that document to their jurisdiction and all of that. So if you want to bring your documents before a court, and as prima facie evidence, just as a notary is prima facie evidence, a attestation, or a testated document is a declaration that something exists or is the case, and it is a formally certified document. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Thus, no need for a notary. Just have 2 or more witnesses to certify your documents. I would say 3 or more witnesses to certify your document, and thus avoid the state jurisdiction of penalty of perjury. Right? Because when you get your documents notarized, that places you on the penalty of perjury. See what I'm saying? And that's another state statute that basically places you under their jurisdiction. So once again, can't talk all this sovereign stuff for all in your documents. We're sovereign, we're this, we're that, and then go get your documents notarized. You know what I mean? You have to speak on the essence of fiat. And fiat, once again, fiat, really deep. Fiat is the authoritative command, an authoritative command, act or of will, a binding command or judgment that creates without or as if without further effort. Your word is your bond. Authoritative determination dictated a fiat of consciousness, meaning like your consciousness or your mind state is of the authority of your creator. So therefore, when you stand on that aspect, that's the most highest authority, you know what I'm saying, that you're dealing with is a divine authority, not their divine authority. That's why they always trying to trick you up by getting you to swear in and do you tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but truth, to help you God. That's their God. And if you say yes and all of that and affirm and swear and all of that under their God, then that means that you can't represent the authority of your God. So therefore they're placing their fiat over your fiat. That's the whole science. You know what I'm saying? It's about fiat. It's about your authoritative command. Where does your authority come from? What gives you the authority to speak law? And speaking law is simply jurisdiction. What's the authority of your jurisdiction? Authority of my jurisdiction is my creator. And you have no power over my creator unless you can prove that you're powerful than my creator. Or you have more authority. And you can't. So that's what it is. That's why religion is so powerful in the court, man. That shit holds weight, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, even though we know we're not, as far as the nation of God's earth, we're not a religion, we're a culture. But I'm trying to tell you, man, the terminology, it's all about the terminology. You know what I'm saying? It's not you're going to go and say, oh, my religion is the 5%. And I'm saying, not saying you're saying it like that. Because we had court cases where we define ourselves as a culture, you know what I'm saying, and not as a religion. So, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm speaking about is not necessarily for the nation of God's earth, but if a member of the nation of God's earth were to want to develop their own foreign state and develop their own constitution and then adopt a treaty so that they can have some type of stance in international law, then this is how you do it. And anybody that wanted to do this, this is how you do it. So, yeah. You know, and as far as nations are concerned, nations stand among nations. Nations are known among nations. You know how we have the term, or you hear the term, we're a nation within a nation? I don't bear witness to that. I'm not going to be a nation within a nation, because that means that you're within someone else's jurisdiction. No, you should be a nation among nations, so that you declare yourself as a nation and then tell them that, listen, you know, I respect y'all, y'all respect me. This is treaty. This is treaty. This is how nations deal in treaty. You know what I'm saying? You respect my customary laws. I respect y'all customary laws. We don't have to feud. Everything can be in peace. That's what you call, you know, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. That's what that's about. You know what I'm saying? That's the oldest standing treaty between the United States and any other nation or country. So, you know. So treaty, what is a treaty? What is a treaty? Treaty is a contract between / among nations or parties. You know, so I put it in nation because I'm speaking about nation building. You know what I'm saying? Must be a member of nation to receive benefits of treaty, to be able to adopt the treaty. So in other words, you must be a member of a nation if you're trying to, with a constitution, as to where you're trying to adopt that treaty to your constitution, to apply to your constitution. In order to be able to adopt the treaty, or to be able to use the treaty, basically, or have, you know, receive benefits of the treaty. You have to, you know, this is a process. And I was breaking down about a letter of assessment. Instrument of accession. You know what I mean? The instrument of accession. But y'all could go back to the other video to watch that. I ain't gonna go back over that. Oh, and then also you got what's called a self-executing treaty. So if you are your own foreign nation state, you can draw up what's called a self-executing treaty, as to where you say, listen, we are who we are, da 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 da. This is a self-executing treaty. We are willing to treaty in peace and friendship with all nations, or whatever said nations you want to treaty with, da 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 da. It's like a proposal, you know what I'm saying? And this proposal will be acknowledged or approved by the Minister of Foreign Affairs. You have the head of state. If you're dealing with something in the state, then you contact the head of state. But I'm more so dealing with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, because I'm dealing with a foreign government, a foreign entity, a foreign Aboriginal tribe. You know what I'm saying? Foreign. Look up that term, foreign. You know what I'm saying? That's without the United States. You know what I mean? Foreign entity. You have the right to develop yourself as a foreign entity. You know what I'm saying? Break free. Privilege doctrine. In the law of evidence, a privilege is a rule of evidence allowing the holder of the privilege to refuse to disclose information or provide evidence about a certain subject, or such evidence, or bar such evidence from being disclosed or used in judicial or other proceeding. So say for example, if you have something like a non-disclosure agreement, you know, say non-disclosure agreement allows you to not have to disclose certain information pertaining to your business, or whatever the case may be. Like if you have a contract with somebody, like y'all say, listen, as long as we deal in business, I'm not going to disclose any information about your business, about what you ain't disclosing nothing about what I'm doing. And, once we done doing, you can do whatever. But while we have this contract going on, we have a non-disclosure agreement. And that means that we keep all this business exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Private, not public. So, privilege, a special right, advantage, or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group. So you know how we be talking about white privilege? White people got white privilege in America. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to do certain things. They don't have to disclose information. They don't have to show ID. They don't have to do this, that, and the third. They got white privilege. You know what I'm saying? White police just let them go by. Oh, they don't even bother them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they got white privilege. You know what I'm saying? A special right, advantage, or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group. So, also too though, but once you have your foreign nation drawn up, your foreign, nation state drawn up, and you have your own customs and customary laws and so forth, then you'll be afforded certain privileges or special rights, advantages, or immunities granting available to a particular group, to your particular nation, because you are who you are. You know what I'm saying? And it's documented that these customary laws and so forth exist. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you have to put these documentations in what's called public general circulation. You know what I mean? Which means that they're in a, like, how you put your documents in a newspaper and stuff like that. That's called general circulation. And you put it in there for a certain amount of time, so that anybody who needed to know or wanted to know or whatever can have this information available to them, where they can find this out and be able to, look it up and so forth, so forth. You know what I mean? Or as a reference point to where they can find information that you're making publicly known. Bill of particular, to establish the facts. Bill of particulars, to establish facts. So in your documentation, you'll have what's called bill of particular. That's like a facts, a section of facts. You know what I'm saying? Establish the facts. Nations. Nation creates states. States speak statements to create constitutions. They make a statement. You know what I'm saying? Like a state makes a statement or a proclamation to the world as to how they're creating their constitution and or treaties. You got the full faith and credit clause. Full faith and credit clause allows them to honor your contracts statements via raised seal upon the contracts or documents. So yeah, so when you go to the Secretary of State or whatever the case may be, you're going to fill out that form, that DS-46 or DS-40 whatever form. You're going to fill that out, and they're going to basically put their raised seal on the document, you know what I'm saying? And the document has now full faith and credit. Just sanguinis, Latin word relating to blood. The principle that the nationality of children is the same as the parents, irrespective to the place of birth. Just solely, nationality is dependent upon place of birth. So we're not necessarily dealing with just solely, because you could be born anywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you break down like how, you got a family from Africa. They from Africa, and then they move to China and they have a baby in China. And now, does that mean the baby is Chinese now? Like, no, baby's not Chinese, but by residency or citizenship, it would be considered a citizen of the Republic of China, or whatever they call their government. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that would be. But that would be just based upon just solely, meaning the nationality depending upon the place of birth. But when you're dealing with the Aboriginal peoples, and claiming that you're of the native to the land, you're dealing with just sanguinis, meaning the Latin term relating to the blood. The principle of nationality, that the nationality of the children is the same as the parents, irrespective of the place of birth. I mean, whoever's watching right now, I can't see the name popping up, but whoever's watching right now, powerful information, man. You might want to go back and check the last video I did too, and this video here, man. Powerful information. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't talking about no drama and whatever else and all that, all that crazy stuff that people like to be entertained about. But I'm talking about some stuff that you could use to really get your life together. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. You know what I mean? But yeah, so fee schedule, DNA claim, and charge for infringement. So in other words, you make a claim with a fee schedule. You want to make a claim on all of your DNA, your saliva, your blood, your semen, your everything about you, your hair sample, your fingerprint, your da 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 da. You want to make a claim on your whole physical, mental, spiritual, intellectual being. And if they try to infringe upon any of that, there's certain amounts in gold that need to be paid for that infringement upon your fee schedule. I could go much deeper into it like that, but I'm just giving you basic stuff right now. Appropriation of jurisdiction. Appropriation, I didn't write that in the definition, but basically what that's speaking about is that appropriation of jurisdiction is like when you state your jurisdiction or what your jurisdiction is, then the court has to decide, or I guess the court would decide whether this form of jurisdiction is in the proper venue. Is this case in the proper venue? Does the court have jurisdiction to deal with this case? You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're dealing with something like diversity of citizenship, you know what I'm saying? Then those type of cases have to go to the Supreme Court, where they're dealing with the highest federal law, you know what I'm saying? The Supreme Court, you know what I mean? And, dealing with Constitution, you know what I'm saying? So that would go to that law. That would go to that venue, you know what I'm saying? So that would be like an appropriation of jurisdiction. If a certain case doesn't fit in a certain venue, the judges should transfer the case to the proper venue. You know what I mean? And I think you could request that too. I request this case be transferred to the proper venue. I put in a motion for that. That's just whatever the case may be. Because I remember, maybe I should do that too. Because I remember the last court case I went into, the judge, after all these goddamn cases I've been in there talking all of this, that, and the third, and he want to finally tell me, oh, well, if you're talking about, trusts and things of that nature, maybe you should contact the surrogate courts or the probate courts or something. Like, I was like, nigga, You could have told me that shit fucking first fucking day I walked in here talking all this hot shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And you could have wasted all this goddamn time, you know what I'm saying? But he only said that after I put them niggas on blast about basically this is conflict of interest. Because check this out, right? Some simple jewel, right? The judge is working for the bar association, and whoever the prosecutor is or the opposing attorney is also supposed to be licensed by the bar association. So if that's the case, they're both working for the bar association. That means that that's a conflict of interest because you guys are working on the same team. You guys work for the same company. That's a conflict of interest. That means that you guys are working together against me, basically, in the end. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. And and all types of other shit I dropped on him about the fact that he doesn't have proper standing. Then the judge would turn around and say, "Oh well, I work for the bar association. I'm not sure if Mr. Sternberg is da, da, da." So I said, so then you just admitted for the record that you've allowed this man to come before the court and he doesn't even have proper standing. He's not even licensed by the bar association, which means he's not even licensed to practice law. He doesn't have proper standing in the court. This is fraud. For the record, Your Honor, Mr. Sternberg has just committed fraud upon the court and misrepresentation of his client. Oh, man. Damn. Ooh. That nigga face is red as fuck, you know what I'm saying? But now, with all of that, and I have that, and I need to get another transcript of that, because now I could take that and maybe take it to a higher court of appeal and be like, yo, listen, man, you see what I stated on the record, man, and they just stood there and they ain't even addressed none of this, even though I didn't bring it forth properly, I want to bring it forth properly, so therefore they need to address these issues. And if at that last case I didn't have many damn cases where this nigga was a opposing attorney. So that means that if I could prove that for that last case that he didn't have proper standing, that means that every time you came before this court, you didn't have proper standing. And that means that every time that any of these other people came before this court, they didn't have proper standing. And that means that every time they came before here, the judge, you allowed them to do this colorable practice of law before you. You know what I'm saying? And you probably the only one that actually works for the bar association or actually has an actual oath that you actually upholding. So how you upholding your oath if you allowing them to deal in misappropriation of jurisdiction and misappropriation of law? You know what I mean? Like, come on, come on. So that's what I'm speaking of. Anyway, so you got property rights. You can look up the definition for that. Land grants, that's rights to property. You have inherent rights to property, and this is why also you have to develop, show, and prove your laws of succession. You have to be successful and develop your laws of succession as to where you have your successor trustees already in place. So if you become incapacitated or if you pass on, then everything in your trust and how your will is set up, everything can be carried out, and you can do everything you need to do, and so forth, because all of that will be set in place. You know what I'm saying? Land grant, a grant of public land, especially to an institution, organization, or a particular group of people, land grant, colleges, etc. So, in other words, when you develop yourself as a foreign entity, as a tribe, as an aboriginal tribal government, a nation, state, with your own constitution. And you don't necessarily have to develop a treaty. Adopt a treaty at this time, but just make your attestation or your declaration that something exists. Make your declaration that you exist and place this in general circulation. So now this is known on a national or international level. Then you can apply for a land grant, because land grants are a grant of public land, especially to an institution or organization. So if you have your tribal government set up and so forth, and you have your divine ordinance or divine appointments set up within your tribal structure, like you say, like, yo, I'm the chief of the tribe, and then you got certain positions for everybody else and all of this stuff, then they'll be like, okay, these people are officially established. We respect them. We're going to actually maybe consider them for a land grant. You know what I'm saying? To a particular group of people land grant colleges and so forth. So in other words, like, that's an example of like they got grants and stuff. Colleges get grants, land grants and stuff to build their colleges because they say, yo, listen, we're an educational institution. We want to build a college here, and we're going to serve the community by educating all the children in the community. We're building a college. You know what I'm saying? You can sign your kids up. We're going to have donations. We're going to donate to the community. We're going to do this, that, and the third, da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we could organize things like this and set up things like this. This is how you get shit in motion and start doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know? I'm only one person. That's what I'm trying to say. So if I'm sharing this information and maybe other people can collaborate, you can maybe start doing your own thing and all of that, man. Just like, we need to get on this wave. This is the whole new wave of information that we need to really be focusing on and dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Because all that other stuff, a lot of people are just stuck on nationality. Nationality ain't the end all. Nationality is not the end all. Because, okay, you say your nationality, your nation. What do nations do? Nations do things. You know what I'm saying? It's like they do things. You know what I mean? They don't just stand around like, yo, we're a nation. Yo, everybody, we're a nation. Yo, all right, yo, we're a nation. What do? You know what I'm saying? You do things. And you interact with other nations. You know what I'm saying? Like, not saying you have to, but most times nations do. Like, what are you, nation phobic or something? Like, we could build with other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to be stuck to one group of people. If you choose to be, then that's on you. You can do that. Nobody stopped me from doing that. But to me, that could be a stunt to your growth and development because you're not developing friendships in all walks of life, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like Elijah Muhammad broke down. You know what I'm saying? Develop friendships in all walks of life. Just because you're a 5% or just because you're a this or just because you're a that don't mean, oh, well, I don't fuck with them niggas over there because they this, that, and the third. Nah, man, you know what I'm saying? Man, that's division. That's division. That's Willie Lynch. That's Willie Lynch all over again. In the conscious world, in the religious world, whatever, is Willie Lynch. You know what I'm saying? Nah, them niggas is Muslims. Nah, them niggas is Moors. Nah, them niggas is Christians. Nah, them niggas is 5%ers. I don't fuck with them niggas. Nah, them niggas is such. Them niggas is, oh, they. Like, come on, man. That's all of that shit is division. At the end of the day, like Malcolm said, you know what I'm saying? If I take these 5 fingers and I slap you across your face, you might feel a slight sting. But if I take all these 5 fingers and I put them together, then, you know what I'm saying, you can strike a mighty blow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So that's what we need to do. Like Voltron, we need to form that Voltron. You know what I'm saying? Stop being all, oh, I'm this, you're that, he's this, I don't fuck with them niggas. Oh no, I'm this. Oh no. Nigga, come together, man. And really manifest that black power we always talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't gonna manifest like this. It's gonna manifest like this. You know what I'm saying? Like this. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? You got what's called opportunity zones. Opportunity zones. You know, so you want to develop yourself as a tribal nation, tribal government, tribal foreign nation state. And then you maybe could apply for just like you could apply for a land grant, you could apply for opportunity zones. What are opportunity zones? We need to look that up to get the exact definition. But basically, they're similar to land grants. They're zones. They're areas of space that are available for recreation, for you to build on, for you to, do this, do that, establish things, say opportunity zones, you know what I'm saying? And you can use that as a way, I think some people were trying to use that as a way to establish a jurisdiction. But understand that jurisdiction is established through your like everything I was just breaking down, through your attestation, through your general circulation of that attestation. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you proclaimed in your documentation, you put that in general circulation and you make it known on a national or international level. And then if you need to individually make certain heads of states or Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security, Department of whoever, if you want to notify them as well, you can notify them as well individually, you know what I'm saying, just to put them on notice or whatever case it be. And then you just continue to operate, because once you create this whole paper trail and you see that you don't get any, because an unrebutted affidavit becomes becomes judgment. Now they use the term affidavit, but it's not affidavit, it's a written attestation. You know what I mean? But however, that right there, unrebutted or unrebutted contract in general, unrebutted document in general becomes law. Because if nobody rebutted or nobody said, well, we don't agree with this or we have opposition to this or da 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 da, and who are they to have an opposition? Like, what are they gonna say? Like, that's why I say, you use the language to redevelop your own thing. So what did I do? I looked up, I typed in tribal constitution template, you know what I'm saying, and got a sample template of what a general tribal constitution would be, and it has a disclaimer in it that this is not to the official IBA standards, the Indian Bureau, whatever they're called, or whatever, the Indian Bureau, how they, the people that deal with the, the recognizing of federal governments and tribes and so forth. They them. So so anyway, that's what you want to do, man. I went into the whole separation of church and state. They talk about separation of church and state, but yet at the same time, church and state is always together, you know what I mean? But you got to know how to rightly divide things. So, for example, the church, the state can't necessarily infringe upon your religious rights of your religious, or rather I say, your divine institution. You know what I mean? Your divine institution. They can't infringe upon it, and the divine institutions can't infringe upon the state. So, that's why they say separation of church and states as far as their own, and that's another example of appropriation of jurisdiction, separation of church and state. They're appropriating the jurisdictions. The state has its own jurisdiction, and the church has its own jurisdiction. So that's an appropriation. That's a perfect example of appropriation of jurisdiction. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, you got Peace God. King L Bay is live. Peace God. Yeah, tune in to King L Bay as well, man. King L Bay be dropping them jewels, man. You already know, man. He be dropping that sauce, you know what I'm saying? That sauce boss, you know what I'm saying? Tune into the sauce boss and get that sauce, you know what I'm saying? Word up. So now we going into what's called the alter ego doctrine. You can look that up, the alter ego doctrine. I didn't write it down, but it's on my page though. I put a whole post about that. So, I'm gonna refer y'all to my page on that. Y'all gotta look up something yourselves as well. It's good that all of this wasn't filled in, because it's inspire y'all to go look it up yourselves. Alter ego doctrine. That's basically how you can develop your own name, or rather say calling, you know what I'm saying? Because you already know the so-called name you got on your birth certificate, social security card, and all that. That's the so-called straw man, the legal fiction that they made out of you when you were born. Like I said, you got the real you, living blood, flesh and blood person, and then you got the paper you. So when you create a calling pertaining to the real you, that becomes your alter ego. Your alter ego. And you manifest it in your doctrine. So in your documentation and in the doctrine of your divine institution, you're going to state that, listen, my name is not Joe Smith or Tommy Brown. My name is Supreme God Allah, da 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 da, and these are my customary laws, and this is who I am, and this is my tribe, and this is who we are, and da 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 da, and so forth, so forth. You know what I'm saying? And all of that. And that's known as alter ego doctrine, as to where you can create your, basically kind of like how they try to do to you, create a legal fiction out of you and put you on the market and all of that. You can create your own legal fiction and then just operate independently, because you don't want to take that entity and then put it back into contract with the same people you just try to break free from. So the whole object of all of this is try to remain as free and foreign as you can. You know what I'm saying? As far as you making money or whatever, contract independently. And if you have to, as a self-employed person, if you want to deal with the IRS doesn't necessarily have jurisdiction over your private entity or your corporation or the company you make up and all of that. But if you choose to deal with them, then write them a letter of attestation stating the stipulations of how you choose to deal with them. Like, listen, this is my foreign entity that I created. Now, being that I am, within a certain, I'm how you say, I have a diversified citizenship within. Oh no, now it's like, because that would be a nation within a nation type stuff. But rather I say rather that you're in treaty with the said nation, United States or whatever, and you respect their laws or whatever, da 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 da. Not saying that you're subject to them, but you're in treaty, peace and friendship. You know what I'm saying? Treaty, and that you're operating basically in your own sovereign, in your own private capacity, and you're doing your own thing, and you have your own self-executed treaty, and you're doing you, and it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like all this proof. Like you ain't got to show all this proof to motherfuckers, man. Just do what you do, and as long as you know that you're doing everything to the law, then operate, man. You know what I mean? Do what you do. You know what I mean? Fuck all that. Massa, can I do? That's why, I was about to do the LLC, but I fell back on it because I'm like, a lot of that, as far as me trying to develop all this, foreign nation and all of that stuff and place my business under that, it has to be, I have to be an independent contractor. You know what I'm saying? That's the closest you can get to, not being, under certain statutes and laws and this, that, and the third. Only thing I would say that you would probably, have to file your taxes or whatever when you want to file your taxes. Those are only people you would have to deal with is as far as that. So you have general power of attorney. So what's going on, right? You have general power of attorney. You have special limited power of attorney. You have a spring power of attorney. You have durable power of attorney, medical power of attorney. You know what I mean? And what you call, believe is breaking down. Keith Little, he said, he didn't use the term durable power of attorney. He used the term. Uh, he used the term administrator of man, what did he call it, man? Damn, I should have wrote that shit down. I know I wrote it down somewhere. Administer of something. But basically saying a minister of his own estate, basically, what should I say? You know what I'm saying? And general. But I think I don't know if this was King of Bay. King of Bay might have put this one. He said minister of family affairs. So basically, when you're doing your power of attorney, you're basically in, like, you want to ratify the language. You use the same context, but ratify it in different words, so it's not seen as plagiarism or falling under the coded, patented language that they have. You know what I'm saying? That we're unaware that they actually have this language patented. So you don't want to speak too much in their language, as where they like, man, you talking our language, you using all our statutes and codes and da 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 and all of that, and then you try to talk about you sovereign in your own foreign capacity. Man, get out of here, man. You just said pursuant to U.S. code, da 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 da. So you using our codes, you using our statutes, you using our. So that's why I say you don't want to use exactly the statute, but you want to re-ratify. So you don't want to say pursuant to U.S. Code 1401, it states that states shall not interfere with the property of Aboriginal peoples and da 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 da. You want to state that, you know what I'm saying, as an Aboriginal people, the state shall not infringe upon the rights of my property. You know what I'm saying? Da 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 da. You just want to state it. And then if they ever need proof that, well, who's to say we can't infringe upon your property? You'd be like, well, not saying that I'm subject to that statute, but in your own statute it says in U.S. Code 1401 that the state shall not infringe upon the properties of the Aboriginal. You know what I mean? So forth, so forth. So if they want to get spunky, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I try to say. You just speak the language. You just ratify the language and speak with your own authority or your own fiat. You know what I'm saying? That's the science, the own fiat, your divine authority. You speak with divine authority. Your authority comes from the divine. You are divine. Your energy, your authority comes from the divine. So that's the science. All right, y'all. Pardon me 1 second. Getting a little hot. About to go out for the day and whatnot too. But finish up a couple more of these definitions and travel out. All right, so you got you say you want to rescind all contracts with the probate office. You know what I mean? We're dealing with the probate office. Want to rescind all contracts, merger, return certificates and registers, return certificates to registered owners, changing of name, straw man, collapsing the public trust, transfer all property into private estate, and that's what you also call reversion of estate. You know what I'm saying? Where you getting back what was exceeded. You know what I'm saying? After you want to take the property out of the probate, um, financial financial, educational, all that information, all your financial information, educational information. You want to take all that property out, like all that information pertaining to you. You say you want copies of that, and you want all of that to be expunged from their records. You know what I'm saying? You will transfer the commercial lien into a sacred lien. Now that was real deep too, because now remember you're speaking with divine authority. You're speaking with fiat. This is how you change the like remember how when you certify a document, they try to change the the divine fiat or the divine authority of your documentation into their commercial um monetization or securitization of the document. You know what I'm saying? Afterwards. So you don't want to do it that way. You want to go to the probate court and basically get your information and then um, transfer the commercial liens into sacred liens. Now, sacred pertaining to, like the divine essence of what you're dealing with. So, like I said, remember, your fiat, your authority comes from your divine creator. So now you want to transfer those commercial liens into sacred liens and put a spiritual or divine fiat to the documentation. You know what I'm saying? You want to transfer it over to your own fiat, your own divine authority, and place it under your divine institution. You know what I'm saying? Under the authority of your divine institution, based on divine appointment of the creator. So you stating that like, yo, listen, man, and even in the Bible, you're not a Bible touch. See, that's why you can use a Bible for it's deep. Like how the Bible says, in Genesis 1:26 through 28, how, and God said, let man have dominion over the earth. Also, let us make man in our image after our likeness. Let him have dominion over the earth, over the fowl of the sea, the beasts of the field, everything that creepeth upon the earth. You know what I'm saying? So stating from that stance, you can be like, "Yo, man, listen, I believe in this is my not believe, but this is my fiat. Once again, this is my fiat, and you know what I mean. This is my divine command of authority, and this is what I stand on. And according to the Holy Scripture, it says that I was given dominion over the planet and so forth and so forth. So therefore, I intend to exercise that divine right. You know what I mean? And they try to stop you from exercising that. You know what I mean? Because we're not coming in that capacity. We're not realizing the fact of our own fiat. We have to deal in the science of fiat. And like I said, I did a whole video breakdown, 2 hours and some change. Y'all could go check that out on my train. Oh shit, the God King El Bay in the building. Peace, God. You want to come on in? We try to get you on this camera. Yes, sir. It says adding. Peace. Yeah, God, I'm just going through some of these notes, you know what I'm saying, and breaking down, some of these things that I've been learning from you and Keith Little and certain jewels I've been drawing up. If you get a chance, I was gonna send you a video I did. If you get a chance, you can check out this video I did on fiat the other night. I'm pretty sure you've seen Keith's video. He broke down fiat, but I kind of like expounded on it, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, it's deep though, you know what I'm saying? I was going in on that, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm trying to add you right now. All right, but anyway, peace, 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 brother. We adding on. So now we going on to I said always place trust in documents. Trust. Oh, okay, yeah, another jewel. Another jewel was they have a fiduciary responsibility to transfer all documents as a public official. So always place the trust name on your documents. And if they do not file it, that is breach of trust. You know what I'm saying? That's breach of trust law. So you always want to send your documentation from your executor office. You know what I mean? You always want to put the name of your trust on your documents. You know what I mean?
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace, peace,
I'm
peace.
going outside. I gotta go. Peace.
Yeah, man. What's
What's
going on,
good,
man?
God?
We just it's adding on, man. You see me breaking down these notes, man, going through this science, man. Dropping these jewels, man.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna give you some more game on that. Let me give y'all some more game, right? So the government can entertain titles of nobility, right? L, Bay, and Day. They will automatically what identify you as what a form. You don't have a name, you have a title. See, there's titles of nobility. So, what y'all got to understand when you dealing in titles of nobility in jurisdiction, they like jurisdiction when dealing with people who have such title, who have such claim of right. So we talking about, so just like a statue, they got title USC this or Ohio Revised Code this. Those are titles. And when you carry on the title of like consumer, so that take you over to the title under that subsection in which you inherit what? That's
Yeah, you froze.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, froze up for a minute, G.
So y'all gotta understand the Constitution as it relates to everything, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're breaking up a little bit. You're freezing up a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Let me see. So
Yeah, it's
we
just
got
being
to
it's a little.
understand the
All right.
Constitution. So we got to understand the Constitution because, like I tell people, right, you're dealing in science fiction. You only can't become an attorney at law. So what are you? You are entrusted. You are entrusted. You are entrusted with the estate. So you are a minister of the estate, right? You are a minister of the estates. Ordained is synonymous with order. You're the only person that can give order or jurisdiction. That's a divine right. So didn't Jesus die for your sins? Did Muhammad tell you to earn? Noble Drew Ali? Didn't he say honor our prophets? So you supposed to honor our prophets that came before. If Jesus died for your sins, right? And that's for the past, present, and future, why? Am I
Damn, God,
breaking
you
up?
breaking up. Yeah, 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 you had broke up.
Hold on, let me see if I can go. So I'm gonna try to break this down for y'all so y'all can get these remedies, right? As it relates to jurisdiction. As we confer to jurisdiction and understand what we're supposed to be doing with this information. That's why I tell people when you nationality is the word of the day. So when you dealing in nationality, right, you got to understand as you are L day or day, you dealing in title of nobility. They do not have jurisdiction over titles of nobility. Did you get that?
Yes, sir. Right now, right now.
It's me. So when you dealing in titles of nobility, right, they can't intervene with that. They can't they can't they can't mess with that. They can't mess with your title of nobility as it relates to more science. So let's talk about you only can be an attorney in fact, right? You can't be an attorney at law. They deal in legalese, right?
Right.
So facts, if you understand what a fact is, facts deal in science. When you dealing in science, you come up with facts. And their legal construction is the fiction. So it's science fiction. So you got to understand how to break it up. Facts kill all presumption and assumptions. So when you go into court, you must understand and assert the facts. What are the facts? You got to make sure you put certain claims on the record and present it to the state. They have to rebut it. Once those claims has been legitimized and they went through the proper due process of notice as you putting it in the newspaper and stuff like that, and you assert that claim, now you can give your records to an attorney. He do not represent you. He just represent the facts. Because you already went to a notary to do what? A notary presentment. She presented, she's a public officer in which she has the authority to present such facts. She the one who presented the facts.
So does a notary actually notarize the document, or they just state that I'm going to present this or serve this upon said
No,
attorney?
what she do is what they call, she do what they call a notary acknowledgement. She acknowledged the document, right?
So it's not necessarily her acknowledging your signature or autograph, but more so the document itself.
Yeah, she's acting as a witness. So before you can go into the court, right, you got to have what they call a certified conflict. How do you certify a conflict? You got to have witnesses. So the notary is acting as a witness, and you bring yourself as a witness and another witness as three, and now you have what they call is a certified conflict for the record, in which if you gave the state notice and you do everything accordingly, then all you do is represent the facts. You kill the presumption with the facts.
You said conflict. You said a certified conflict via notarial protest, notary acknowledgement.
So let me show you. In law, they have what they call a certified conflict of law. Let me show that to y'all. Certified conflict of law. See, hold on. Let me see. Can I show the people? How do I show the people? How do I turn it around like that?
There you go.
You see this? Notice of a certified conflict, a conflict of law, a conflict of laws. You see that?
Yes, sir.
So let's go to Civil Rule 44. All right, we're gonna go to the Federal Rules, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 44. Let me show y'all. 44. Let's break this down. 40. You see that?
Rule 44.1.
Determination. Yeah, 40. So you got to go here, right? This is what they do. Proving an official record, a domestic record, each of the following evidence of official record or entry in it that is otherwise admissible and kept within the United States and any state, district, or commonwealth or any territory subject to the administrative or judicial jurisdiction of the United States. Now go down here. Final certificate. Let's go here. Foreign record, right?
Okay, there you go. Because I was about to say, doesn't that make it under their jurisdiction? Okay, but you got foreign record. All right.
In general, each of the following evidence, a foreign official record or entry in it that is otherwise admissible. An official publication of a record. You see this?
An official publication of a record.
An official publication of a record. The record or copy that is attested. You see this? This is why they call it a notary attestation or a notary acknowledgement by an authorized person and is accompanied by a final certificate of genuineness. That's why you got to get it authenticated. Or by a certificate under a treaty or convention to which the United States and the country where the record is located are parties.
And that was Federal Rule 44.1.
No, there's Federal Rule 44, proving an official record. Then you got to go to 41, right? Determination of foreign law. A party who intends to raise an issue about a foreign country's laws must give notice by a pleading or other writings. So what is the other writings? Notice. You must, before you come into court, you must give notice. In determining foreign law, the court may consider any relevant material or sources, including testimony, whether or not submitted by a party or admissible under federal rules of evidence. The court determination must be treated as a ruling on a question of law. See? We ain't going in there playing no games with these people. I know how to deal with them.
So it said foreign law. It said foreign writings.
It says other writings. Other writings.
Right. So other, that pertains to anything. Other, you know what I mean? Right, exactly.
Right. Other writings.
Right. So that pertains to your foreign
government and what you're writing, what you're bringing, what you're presenting to them. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I was saying before, I was feeling like I was like, damn man, you saying like we got to rewrite the matrix, but nah, I realized it's not rewriting the matrix. It's basically writing your own matrix. You know what I'm saying? Like writing your own history, writing your own self into existence. You know what I mean? And you can use their language as a model. You know what I mean? To develop your own. You know what I mean? And like I was just saying a little bit before,
Exactly.
is that you don't want to speak too much of their language because then they're gonna be like, man, you using our statutes, using our code, you speaking our language that we
You
have
plagiarize.
that
You plagiarize.
right plagiarizing, right? You know what I'm saying? And that they have patented, they have their language patented. So that's why I was also real deep about how you said you want to write in your documentation that all this language has been transliterated into plain English. You know what I mean? So that way, all parties, that's involved or anybody acknowledging this documentation we can all be on the same page. You know what I mean? Ain't no legalese, ain't no patented secret language being used. It's all common English. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Right.
That's definitely facts.
Right.
So I got a lot of revising I got to do on my documentation, but it's all good because it just heightens the validity of it, and it brings it to a whole nother level. Like what I mean? Like this next level, man. Next level, man.
Next level. I used to tell y'all it's levels to this.
Level to the
It's levels, It's levels. That's why I be trying to tell brothers. But the will is the most important document.
okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Because how do you get an inheritance? So Jesus died for your sins, right? He died for your sins, right? If he died for your sins, don't you inherit what he died for? He said, I died for your sins. Your sins is all your debts. So you owe no man no debt.
Mm. Mm.
Right? And even Noble Drew Ali, prophet, you know what I'm saying? The prophet Noble Drew Ali said, honor all what? Prophets. Even Muhammad says in the Quran, honor all prophets. So if you honor Christ, right? And if he died for your sins, right? That means you got redemption. So you have no sin. You have no future, past, and present debt.
That's why they say all shall be redeemed through the blood of Christ.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, but
you see what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. But that's what I was breaking down before. I was giving like my disclaimer on, like I said, like, yo, I'm not like on some 10% in religion shit. I'm saying that the 10% that's using the religion, they're using the religious language in the wrong way or for the wrong cause. But we need to use it for reversionary of our state. You know what I'm saying? To gain back the property that was taken. You know what I'm saying? And using it to your advantage. I even went into the lessons. You know what I'm saying? How it says in the the 1 to 40. The student enrollment. I meant parts of the Lost Time Muslim lesson number 2, 1 to 40, first degree. Who made the Holy Quran or Bible? You know what I mean? How long ago? Will you tell us why does Islam renew its history every 25,000 years? And it says, answer, Holy Quran or Bible is made by the original peoples who was Allah, the supreme being or black man of Asia. So now, if we made the Holy Quran or Bible, then why not be able to use it to your advantage or use it to as your customary law? Like I was going into, I don't know if you were watching earlier, I was going into about customary law and law consisting of customs that are accepted as legal requirements or obligations, conducts, practices, and beliefs that are so vital part of a society, it is treated as law. So, for example, you got Islamic law, which is known as Sharia. Sharia is the religious laws which forms the Islamic traditions. It derives from the religious precepts of the Holy Quran and the Hadiths. So, basically, you know, like you say, they use their Islamic law. They use the Quran as their customary law, as their Sharia. You know what I mean? And that is the law. Like that custom is taken so seriously in the society, it's treated as law. So even when they go, like, you know, people travel to different places, different countries and so forth, their customary laws have to be respected because, you know, it's taken so serious, you know what I'm saying? And like they stand on that shit. Like, you know, the Muslim people, they ready to go for jihad and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? They like, yo, nigga, we go to Allah with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas ready to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, word. So,
Right.
you know, they take that shit serious. Now, if we was willing to stand on some shit that seriously, best believe that should be respected. Like the Black Panthers, when they came with their shit, they like, yo, listen, we manifesting the right to bear arms. And listen, we got our shit cocked and loaded. What's good? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's good? Like, they respected that shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, they found all kind of administrative ways to try to break that down and, you know, gay Edgar Hoover and all of that shit. You know what I mean? And, you know, but they still did their thing, though. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I recognize about the Black Panther Party, too, is that they were a Republican party. And that's the reason why they were able to exercise the rights of exercise the right to bear arms, because they were a Republican party, which was based on the Constitution. Like it says, to the republic for which it stands. You know what I'm saying? So it's not to the democracy or to the whatever and all that other stuff. It's to the republic. So basically, they based it upon a Republican party. They was able to manifest that. You know what I mean? So that was a proper appropriation of jurisdiction, as you would say, as you broke down. You know what I mean? Separation of church and state is appropriation of jurisdiction as well.
So exactly. So this is why I said you only can be an attorney in fact. So let's deal, if we understand law as it relates to inheritance, right? Land, air, and water, right? We dealing only with land, air, and water is inheritance. There, how's you talking about commerce? So let's even go further with that. Let's talk about nations. Nations form government. Why are you dealing with the government when you're supposed to be speaking as a nation to nation? Right? Nations form government.
Right.
You're supposed to be what Noble Drew Ali said, a prophet for the nation. Ain't that government? Stop. Hey, Kenny and Nana. You see what I'm saying? So we got to understand how to deal with the nation. So what do nations deal in? Treaties. Right? So the highest form of treaty that we talk about that they honor is laws of succession, laws of inheritance. So why are we talking about commerce? Come and get this stuff and give her something to drink for. You feel what I'm saying? We got to deal with these treaties.
All right, but peace, God. Now, I understand the fact that, like you say, dealing with the treaty, but what's wrong with commerce? Or rather, I say, or how should we redefine?
I got one question.
As far as like, I would just say independent contracting, but you know, that's the best I would say. You know what I mean?
All crimes are commercial. All crimes are commercial. So why would you put yourself in a criminal element? If you're doing commercial activity, anytime you're doing a commercial activity, you can be subjected to a what? Criminal element. They say all crimes is commercial, right? 12 CF, what is it? 72 CF, 12 CFR, right? 7212 CFR, all crimes are commercial. So why would you put yourself in a criminal element when you're supposed to be operating in honor?
All right.
Right?
So say if I'm operating as an independent contractor and then I deal with the IRS to file taxes, is that dealing in commerce?
So this is what we're supposed to do, right? Because a man is worthy of his hire. Because a man has a right to inherit what is promised to him. So me and you in a contract.
It started leaking on the wall.
So that's what we got to understand, right? You got to start. Is this the right time?
That's the right time. That way.
So, right? So a lot of this stuff that we got to deal with when we're dealing with as an independent contractor, right? We have a right to contract. So what do you put in your contracts, right? So this is why I talk about as an independent contract, you put the buck back on them. You don't pay taxes. First of all, you have a right not to be taxed based upon your title of nobility.
Oh, okay.
So,
Y'all, what about
and then on top of
that
that,
element? You know what I mean? Word. I said, how could I had forgotten that element?
So,
see, I was so caught up in this LLC shit, and you know what I mean? Yeah.
they got you. They bombarding you. Everybody trying to bombard you with this right of commerce, but you have a right to contract. What the government say? We won't interfere with the obligations of a contract. So what do you do when you are independent contract?
Contract.
What do you do if they can't? So guess what you do? You have the language in there that what? Relieve you from any obligation.
Well, that's what I was thinking about, an indemnity clause. But then you said, you know, well, you know what I'm saying, you ain't gonna be held indemnity for everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you know.
But guess what? You can say that this contract is non-commercial in nature and that this is a fair trade agreement, right? It's about your ability to write contracts to exclude and include what you don't want in it. And that this is a taxable transaction. That all parties agree, right? So you got, that's why I say this is a critical thinking exercise. You got to understand what language that you want to speak in to confer the jurisdiction and establish your rights and claim of rights.
Oh, but I thought you gotta ask the government for jurisdiction.
For what?
Exactly. I don't know, but some people think that.
No, you ain't gotta ask them nothing. You just gotta learn how to. That's why I call it effective communication. If you learn how to effectively communicate, you can do anything you want to do.
Part of self, God, you said confer the jurisdiction and establish the. You said you see.
So let me show you this, right? Let me show you that government dealing non-commercial contracts. Let me show you this. I'm gonna pull it. Governmental non-commercial contracts. Let's just put it in. Let's see what pull up. Right? Hold on. Hold on, let me just show you this. This will pull up. This is, I think this out of 3111, contract calls for non-commercial purchase. Commercial and non-commercial determination in federal court. commercial versus non-commercial and federal procurement contracts. Come on, man. They tell you. Commercial and non-commercial classifications. Implication for contractors. You're a private contractor. That's under an independent jurisdiction. And there's certain things that you do. That's why I say, y'all, we got to understand the importance of the will and how powerful of the will. Broke it down. So let's go to condemnation, right? Property acquired by condemnation. So, condemnation. Hold on, let me show you, right? Hitting buttons. Condemnation is a legal process, right? Condemnation is a legal process by which private property is acquired for the public purpose. The right of condemned represents the power of eminent domain. So while these two terms are not synonymous, they are heavily related when discussing these matters in real estate. So let's go here. Let's look at how a person become condemned or under condemnation as it relates to the Quran and the Bible. Bible verses for condemnation. Hold on, let me show you. About Bible verses about condemnation. Now, the Quran tell you to make a will, right? Hold on. Let me see, where is that at? Let me show you. I went over this. I'm gonna show you something as it relates. I've been breaking all this stuff down, man. I be showing people. Have you ever heard of this? A syntax?
Yes, sir.
A syntax.
Actually, I've heard of syntax.
A syntax.
But I was just part of stuff. I was just thinking of syntax, like with David Windmiller. You know how he breaks down syntax, or you know. But yeah, go ahead, go
right. But this a syntax. A syntax is an excise tax specifically levied on certain goods deemed harmful to society and individuals. For example, alcohol, tobacco, candies, drugs, soft drinks, fast food, coffee, sugar, gambling, and pornography. All right? Syntax. Let me see what else. I'm trying to find the scripture, right?
So it's a tax on things in society that's considered sinful.
Yeah. So the Bible say we shouldn't be what? Practicing gluttony, right? They call you what? A consumer, right? Look up the word consumer, right? You claim that title. You going under the Consumer Protection Act, right? I'm a consumer. You don't even know what you gave. You gave yourself a title of consumer, right? Let's look at what a consumer is. Let me show you what a consumer is. Consumer, right? Consumer. Show you what this is real quick. I don't want it, girl. turn around. So let's look up consumer. You see the word consumer? Consumer. One who squanders or wastes. An agent, now for consume, in economics, one who uses up goods or articles, one who destroys the exchangeable value of a commodity by using it. So, don't God say be fruitful and multiply and go replenish the earth?
Right.
It say replenish the earth. Right? You call yourself a consumer, so you need to be protected. See? We classify that is a title. The Consumer Protection Act is, you call yourself a consumer, that is a title which now you claim that you are a consumer, in which you are now have to abide by that jurisdiction.
So what about getting a debit card for your business?
A debit card.
Because I think
The thing is
you might need to use a social or EIN for that, and the EIN is attached to.
so we got to give them back what they supposed to, right?
Render onto Caesar what belongs to Caesar.
Yep. So let me ask you this, right? Have you ever had a document had a apostille or an acknowledged? Have it authenticated?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a document?
I got did on the.
What do it say? Don't it say?
On the birth certificate.
So don't it say full faith and credit of the United States?
Right.
So if the United States is giving you credit for what you're doing, so why ain't you using the credit of the United States to back you for whatever you're doing? So what is the credit, right? They in possession of your title, right? That birth certificate, that's your title of nobility. They in possession of it. You saying I'm gonna credit the United States. You claim yourself as the creditor, and that they got to give you credit. So you can take those documents and extend yourself a line of credit long as you appropriate it to the proper authorities.
What would that be?
So let's go here, right?
So
United States.
So I take my independent contracting agreement, get it authenticated, and get the full faith and credit like that, and then use it like I.
Now you got to go through some other. You got to go through some other steps. That's why I say first start with the will. The will. You got to get all that done, and then you got to understand your labor can't be taxed. They already tell you under antitrust laws that your labor, a man's labor, is not a commodity. What they're calling a commodity is your intellectual property that you're importing and exporting from the jurisdiction. Let me explain something to you right here. Everything is about knowledge. Everything is about the transfer of knowledge, the import and export of knowledge. Knowledge is the key to everything in life. Knowledge. Hold on, let's go here. Oh, let me show you something. Where did I go? I missed it. Hold on. This stuff is slick. I'm getting ready to set up this master class. I'm finna work on it this weekend. Start getting these curriculums together, but I'm gonna show you something. Hold on. What did it say? let's say the U.S. Department of State, right? And it says Office Home Development, General Resources, Wills, Trust, and Estates, Family Law,
All right. Do you get
Dispute
do you,
Settlements,
do you get the will?
Judicial Assistance, Commercial Law,
Do you get your will?
Externship.
Do you get your will authenticated?
Of course, you get your will and all of that
Yeah. All
authenticated.
right.
You want your will to test.
Do you have to
Family Law.
do you have to have a document notarized and notary authenticated before you get the authentication? Like, because I think they want the notary on it first. And
Well, you got to get the notary.
see, I'm trying to add you back in now. It says adding.
So let's talk about the will, right? The will is the most, because in order to have an inheritance, you got to have a predecessor, right? So I try to tell people when we talking about a successor, right? That's where the word successful come from. In order to be successful, right, you got to have a predecessor so that you can be a successor because you received your inheritance. So you're supposed to receive your inheritance from God. You are ordained by God. So when they say only God can judge me, right? Only God, you are ordained by God. You are under the jurisdiction, so only God can judge me. Let's go to the word, like I said, ordained. 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 To appoint or admit to the ministry of a church. Also decreed, enacted from the stem of Old French ordiner, to place an order, arrange, prepare, to consecrate, designate, directly from the Latin ordinare, put in order, arrange, dispose, appoint. So let's look at the word title. I don't have a name. Name is for corporations. They use this stuff. You have a title. Title, inscription, heading, title, or chapter of a book. It's a position, legal permanent, in part from all title, from both Latin titulus, inscription, label, ticket, play card, heading, honorable, look at this. What this say? Honorable appellation. They ask you your name. I don't have a name. I have a title. Title of honor. Stay in honor at all costs, right? So you stand on your square. What is your square? Right? What shape is the Quran? What shape is the Bible? Right? Stand on your square. Right? You stand on the word of God.
Give me the sharper now.
Or you stand on your contract. I gotta go see if this people came for this car yet.
Yeah, that was it. Stand on your square. Stand on your...
You feel what I'm saying? Nah, come and lock this door. I gotta go get your mama. I gotta go get your mama car.
Where is that?
Oh shit. What I do with my keys?
You're at the shop.
Yeah. What I do with my keys? I might have left them downstairs in the car.
Yeah, it was
Now pay
it was
attention.
deep
Finish
before
doing what I told y'all to do.
it was deep. I was going in about fiat the other night. I was watching Keith's video on fiat. You know, he's breaking it down and so forth, and I was expounding on it, and I was saying how, you know, it says fiat is an authoritative command, the act of will, a binding command or judgment that creates without or as if without further effort. An authoritative determination dictated a so in that example they gave an authoritative determination dictated a fiat of conscience. So the fiat would be the authoritative determination which
Now
dictates.
I want you to go back and read it again. Take your time and look at the depiction of the words on the paper.
Right. An authoritative determination dictating a fiat of conscience. So
Don't it say something about will in there?
pardon me, you're saying something about what?
Will.
Yeah, it says an act of will.
An act of will. So
Right.
when you dealing in fiat, as you talking about paperwork, as it relates to the will, right? This is why I
Right.
try to tell people, if you don't understand the laws of succession as it relates to international law, and you don't have a will, you can't inherit nothing.
Yeah. Say that again, God. You kind of broke up again.
I'm breaking up, right? So
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
we
Yeah. Say
talking
again.
about will,
Yeah. Part of stuff you kind of broke up a little bit. You said if you don't understand the international laws of succession.
yeah, you got to understand. We talking about everything is dealing with inheritance. See, they got you thinking that you a human. Now, God said, that's why the Bible say, Amen, right? Even in the Quran, God said what? He created man in his image and likeness. He ain't said nothing about no human. Look up human, it's a monster. Did you watch my video on Mark of the Beast?
Yeah.
Up on my YouTube channel? I posted on my page, Mark of the Beast. I show people that you thinking that it's the devil. No, they making you the beast. They took you out of your man status and put you in a beast status and called you all types of names. Consumers, humans, all of these different things to what? To know your status.
3/5 of human beings.
Exactly. So you went and got the mark of the beast. You thinking that it's about the devil now. They saying, look, what in the Bible it says he give what? Dominion over the what? The fowl of the air. All cattle, all creeping things, everything. So over the beast. So now you mark yourself as the beast, and now he got jurisdiction to do what? Rule over you. You have the right ordained by God. Because you claim that status. That's why you running around calling yourself all these different titles. Consumer, human, right? You doing all these different things instead of standing on the word of God as it relates to the Most High Allah. We dealing in science. Islam was a science before it ever became a religion. So if we deal in science, that means we deal with facts. That's why it's called, and legal deal in fictions. Legal deal in fiction. Legalese. That's why it's science fiction. That's why you kill the fiction with the fact, because fictions deal in assumptions and presumptions. Something that presumed to be true. How do it presume to be true? Unless you give your consent and claim it.
You know, there's another jewel on that. It said, according to the Bible, the world was created by fiat. And I put you know, Genesis 1:1 and John 1:1 and John 1:14. You know, John 1:1, where it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Then boom, and then it goes on in verse 14 to say that the Word became flesh and dwelled among us. In other versions, it says among men. You know what I mean? But among us is just as plural as saying men. You know what I'm saying? So among us, meaning plural, more than one. You know what I mean? So if the Word became flesh and dwelled among men, that means that man in the flesh is God manifested from the Word, and from the Word into flesh. You know what I mean? And the Word is the sound or the vibration. So as the Quran says, you know, the Holy Quran says, be and it is. You know what I mean? Kun fa kun, be and it is. You know what I mean? And it's two verses, right? So it says the term fiat derives from the Latin word fiat, meaning let it be done. Use of order. So Holy Quran, Surah 2, Ayat 117 says, he is the one who has originated the heavens and the earth. And when he wills to originate a thing, he only says to it, be, and it becomes. And Holy Quran, Surah 6, Ayat 73. And he is the one, Allah, who created the heavens and the earth. in accordance with his decreed celestial order of things. When I heard that verse, I referred that to my divine institution, which is Lord Messiah La El, temple of the sun, planets, moon, and stars. So and how I draw out my family structure, like my grandfather, I put my grandfather as my grandfather slash grand old son, and my grandmother is grandmother slash grand old earth. You know what I mean? My mother would be the mother earth of me and her and her seven siblings. Uh, and my sister being the oldest, she would be the moon, in relation to six stars. And then me and my brothers are known as stars. And then our sons are known as stars and our daughters are known as moons. So that's how I applied my decree of celestial order based on truth within my constitution, within how I'm drawing it up. I'm apply that verse right there. You know what I'm saying?
So what is a constitution as it relates to a will? The constitution is the will of the people.
Well. When I'm speaking about my constitution, I'm speaking about the constitution that's going to be for my tribes, like for my nation state.
So this is what I'm saying. It's for your nation, the constitution is considered the will of the people. When you talking about private estates, it's your private will. You see what I'm saying? They're synonymous. You got to understand what we're talking about. It said, thy will shall be done on earth as it is in heaven. That's why I say, what you mean? How y'all forget about the will? Y'all talking about business trust, and y'all left out a will. The will is the most sacred of sacred documents. I'm using their words because they claim that they're a Christian nation, and I'm going to honor what they say. I'm going to hold them to their word. It says, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. What is heaven? Your consciousness.
I was about to say that Luke 17:21, when disciples are asking Jesus, where's the coming of the kingdom of heaven going to be? He said, it's not going to be a place that you observe with your eyes. You're not going to be able to say here nor there, hither nor thither. For the kingdom, behold, for the kingdom of heaven or the kingdom of God is within you. So it's coming from within you. It's what you will and what you manifest from your own soul, your own desire, your own, and it's what you manifest. And that's your form of fiat. You know what I'm saying? That's your fiat. You know what I mean?
Well, the fiat is the will. That's your right of inheritance. That's your money. So how you gonna give out the will? Because the will go with your birthright. It goes with your birth. Look up childbirth, child after birth. What is it called? I did one yesterday. It's called, in Black's laws, it's called child after birth. And it states that a child born after a will was created. So soon a child is born, your firstborn, you're supposed to have a will. It's no exception. And guess what a will does? If all our ancestors had wills, guess what will happen? You can trace your lineage. You wouldn't need a genealogy.
Yeah, I was about to say, as far as that, I've been using ancestry.com and shit. I've been using ancestry whatever to try to find some of my I think I found my great grandfather, and and then there's a whole nother branch on to him. So I'm trying to connect all of that and I also have like intermarriages within my family, through blood and legal marriage. As and I got Hardys, Wilsons, Evans in my family. You know what I'm saying? The Evans, they are like they look like straight like the stereotypical Indian. You know what I'm saying? Like straight. So that native aspect is in my family as well. So I'm trying to unite that and also incorporate that into my
I'm gonna tell you. Let me explain to y'all. Right. This is how cold blooded this can go. Right. We trying to do all these genealogies. All we got to do is find somebody that know the history and the stories, put it in an affidavit, make it plain.
right. Actual fact. I got to get with my cousins and my aunts, uncles, and certain people's, and you're right, and get that info and document that. You know, actual fact.
And just start making documents, a documentary, in a sense, in the form of an affidavit, putting all this stuff on record and having somebody what?
Attest to it.
Acknowledge, having a notary acknowledge y'all family testimony, right? As all you need is two people, two other people, or three other people, and have it acknowledged by a notary, and it'll stand as truth. You ain't got to go back doing all that stuff, swabbing. Man, these people are using all this stuff. That's fake. Half of this stuff is fake.
To be honest, I was trying to see if they send back anything that says anything about like Native American, but I was going to use that to my advantage. You know what I'm saying? Basically, to be quite honest, you know what I mean? I'll be like, yo, look, see, they said that on there. So y'all niggas owe me now because I'm part of this tribe. Nah. You know what I'm saying? But not on some fake shit though. But I would do as much research as I can as far as my own family lineage and so forth to try to see how I connect back. Like for example, my great grandmother is in Florida. I looked up the history of the Moors in Florida. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Did the history on them. You know what I'm saying? So I would try to, if anything, link back to that history. You know what I'm saying?
And see, you got to remember a lot of stuff. They destroyed our records. They did that on purpose
Right.
to disconnect us to the land.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They came in, created war, and destroyed our records.
And zoomed out again. You know what? I'm gonna end this video. I'm gonna start another live, and I'm gonna come back, so this one won't be so long. All right, y'all. So peace to the family.